Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what I'm doing on the ceiling. Um, I'm building some coffered ceiling boxes, and I don't often find very good video. I mean, there's kind of a lot of videos out there, but nothing satisfied what I was looking for, the way I wanted to, the finished product I wanted, or the installation procedure. And so I sort of had to develop one, which was, a hybrid of a lot of things. That's the way it usually goes. The lighting in here is terrible because it's all temporary lighting. At least I don't have my headlamp shining in your eyes tonight. And I wanted to first tell you, obviously, your layout is the most important thing. What I've done, you can see this box over here, which is actually not going to get done. After I see the cabinetry installed, I don't think I want to take away from it. Plus, I've got an outstanding view of this box here when I walk into the room, and I don't want to obscure that. So I'm going to let it go, but it does show, if you can see in the background, one of my little tricks is using finish nails up there as my extra hands. Oftentimes I'm doing all this by myself. So what I do is take measurements and from there, from a starting point, I'll tack a finish nail up in the corner of something. I'll use that to hold my tape measure, and then I'll use that to hold one end of the string line up and pull it across and snap the lines. That's how I was able to snap lines on a ceiling. And what that does is, what that represents is a dimensional 2x6. And so that's my next step, is what I've done in this, which is sort of, what seems like a complicated floating panels or boxes is, I'll go ahead and chalk line it out. And then with construction adhesive, I don't even worry about finding rafters or stud placement up there. I'm using Loctite or any type of heavy duty construction adhesive on the back of each 2x6, just cutting the ends square, following my chalk lines, and I'll scissor nail them up with some ring shank framing nails, and that holds them nice and tight. From there, the process, I'll walk backwards and try not to blind us with the light. You can see I'm partially through the process here, and then I'll just use, because it's very strong, 1/2 inch OSB to box the whole thing in, square cuts, gluing the ends, squaring them together, and then I've used 1/4 inch birch. Actually, very easy to use, cut, and that becomes the skin. And so what I've done, you can see the shadow there is now my base up there as part of my 2-piece crown. Is I'm leaving a 3/8 reveal on it, and I just made a little cheater block, scrap piece of walnut, whatever you got. As I'm putting them up there, I'm checking that reveal, make sure it's good across, and we're just going 45s on this thing because my boxes are pretty square. There are no copes in this, and one of the things is, you can see up above me, the outside corners, or the inside corners and the outside corners, you cannot cope these because you need that. That's part of your decoration now, that end. And so I need that as part of my design, my finished look. A portion of this behind me is crowned. It's difficult. Working on the ceiling is very difficult. It's not like I just crowned these cabinets yesterday and it was an absolute pleasure because the boxes are square. The material's wonderful, made by my friends Mark and Stephanie Hall with Mark Hall Fine Cabinetry, and their product is outstanding. Their cabinets are amazing. I've been working with them for about a year on the designs and implementation on this. Knotty alder is the wood that we've chosen, and it's I don't have a whole lot of trim up on the cabinets yet, but I did get some light rail up last night on a couple of these dudes. There's the hood, it's magnificent. But I've got light rail up on this cab. It will get crowned, but I'm debating whether or not to wait till everything's painted to put the rest of that crown up. But I have to get this coffered ceiling crown done. It also ties into window trim that's going on. But that's a little rundown of how I start and establish, coffered ceiling. Maybe one thing I didn't touch upon was the plane of this whole thing, the finished elevation. It all has to be at the same plane. You can't just go off your ceiling. This ceiling had a wicked hump in it. Most ceilings do, and most ceilings are not level or square or anything, and so that's why working up there is very difficult sometimes. Also, you're up above your head managing pieces, and again, usually by